Instructional design has such a broad term, or what people think when they think about the word instructional design. And I was just going to refer to or distinguish a type of what people often call instructional design. I would class as more information chunking. We see it quite regularly. So the difference between proper instructional design and information chunking, I guess, is this. So information chunking would be getting a bit of information, and you'll see 3 key sections, 3 key topics, 3 key paragraphs, and then calling it button 1, button 2, button 3, whatever the title might be. A lead-in sentence that says there's 3 elements that you need to be aware of. Click on each one below for more information. And you click on each button at the end, it pops up to say, click next, select next to continue. So that would just be really shallow, not even instructional design, because it's just information chunking sections under buttons. So I wouldn't call that instructional design, or the element of instructional design is really limited to just a lead-in sentence. That's about it. So the difference between information chunking in a script or storyboard versus proper instructional design would be looking at the essence and the key message of what's been delivered within those sections or those paragraphs, and then synthesizing that down. Less is always more, as a good rule of thumb, but synthesizing that down and analyzing what the key message is, and then delivering that back in a way that people can relate to, understand, empathize with the situation, the story, see themselves in it, see the value of needing to know that or recall that or where to go to get that information. So an example would be taking that information and turned into a situational scenario, something authentic, rich, meaningful, not just here's a situation, a couple of sentences and an obvious wrong answer, a mediocre answer and a correct answer, or all the above or something like that. Again, it's almost like you've done half the work setting the scene with the scenario, but you've got limited choices that are really limiting. So something where there's like gray in it, there's a bit of challenging people's understanding, making them recall and think about things, but then question things as well, like you would in real life, where there's a bit of gray. It might be like, yeah, well, that's correct in this instance. However, did you think of this? Or let's look at it from the different perspective. Or let's fast forward and see what would happen now. Knowing what you know now, would you change that decision? And so that higher level, higher order thinking is what we're going for and what we want people to understand. Generally speaking, to learn the principles or behavioral cultural change or something for people to take on, as opposed to just factual recalling of, we said there's 3 elements, how many elements are there? There's 3, or there more, or something like that. So anyhow, that would be the difference between chunking. It's not really instructional design, it's just breaking content up on screen with some buttons, versus some authentic situational scenarios to apply what you're learning. Far more thinking needs to go into that, and then true proper instructional design with people that ideally are technical writers and pedagogical experts. That ideally would have a teaching degree that they can use as a foundation to apply in a different context of being online learning. So that's the difference that I see between shallow instructional design, sort of information chunking, versus proper instructional design. Hopefully that's helpful for people to share.